Hi everyone. Today I want to share with you some thoughts about the 5 things to know if you're an ancient soul. So, an ancient soul is somebody who has lived many lifetimes on Earth or potentially other planets. And there are certain trade, I don't want to say characteristics that people have when they um, either know they're ancient souls or may feel like they're ancient souls, or maybe you don't know you're ancient soul, but after listening to this, you might think you are. The first thing is you just know things. There's things that happen around you, whether they're predicting things, whether they're knowing knowledge, knowing whether things are right or wrong. And I don't mean from a moral perspective, but from like answers on a test, or if somebody asked you something, you just would know. And it's because you have already learned it at some point, or learned the truth. So now within you, there is a knowing. You can feel it within your body. You know that it is something that you have done or have learned in another lifetime and have lived. So really trust that part of yourself because it is telling you something really deep about yourself. And I'll get to that in a moment about what happens once you know you're an ancient soul. So that's number one. The second one is that you dream of different times. Now, this could be a night while you're sleeping, it could be in meditation, or maybe you get flashes of different times. Some people get that, and maybe you dream of crystal cities, cities in the clouds, ancient Egypt, Jesus times, Celtic times, Mayan. Those are all clues that your higher self is sending you that you have lived during that time period. Not your consciousness, but your higher self soul has lived those lifetimes. And you should really pay attention to what those are because your higher self is really trying to tell you that there's something about that time period that your higher self wants you to know now. And there are many reasons as to why that is. But one of them is um, there could be a gift or maybe some knowledge or something, maybe an invention or something you were working with during that time period that your higher self wants you to remember now in order to bring it forward into the now to help you, potentially your family, and potentially the world, depending on what your higher self's goals are. Some of them have really lofty goals, some have really small goals. There's no wrong or right, it's just what you were built for. The third one is similar to number two, and that is that you're attracted to different time periods. Maybe you can't get enough of ancient Egyptian history. Maybe you want to know more about Atlantis. Maybe you want to know more Mayan culture, Celtic. Want to learn more about Mary Magdalene, Mother Mary. Those are all clues that your higher self is giving you that there is something very important for you to remember during those times. Same thing as number two. It's a way of your higher self getting you to remember those time periods that have really beautiful or maybe dull nuggets that need to be found in order for you to really start to really get to know and connect to the ancient soul inside of you so you can become more of that. That is a big part of your life's journey if you are an ancient soul, to remember more about who you are from that level and integrate that more into your conscious reality. And it can be done in multitudes of ways. Um, but if you just follow the steps, if you follow the signs, your higher self will give you all of those. But you have to be willing to maybe read some books that make you uncomfortable, maybe take some courses that make you feel uncomfortable. And what I mean by that is it sometimes remembering this stuff can bring up some past life trauma, and you need to work through those. And as you work through those, you remember really cool things. Fourth one is you feel like you knew someone from the past. And I'm not talking about an ancestor. We all kind of have those, or people that we meet on the street where we feel like we've known them at some other point. Yes, that can be part of it, but I'm talking more about like you knew Cleopatra, or you knew Julius Caesar, or you knew, I'm not good with history, Thomas Jefferson, you knew Abe Lincoln, you knew Gandhi, you knew Buddha, you knew Jesus. And those, again, are signs that your higher self is giving you, saying, hey, you need to pay attention to this. It's not a fluke. It isn't just because you like who this person is and what they did and what they accomplished. There's actually a potential that you actually knew him in a physical manifestation or reincarnation of you in that time that that person lived. And if you know how to use a pendulum, or you know how to do muscle testing, if you don't know how to do muscle testing, use a pendulum and just ask it yes or no. Did I know, let's say Buddha, there's a lot of Buddha statues around here, so it's in my brain right now. Did I know Buddha in a past life, like when he was living? And you may find out that you did. And then that starts to change something inside of you. It's like, oh, what was I studying with him? What did I learn from that my higher self wants me to know now? And it's a really beautiful thing if you can really step into that. And I think many people would be surprised that they actually knew and or studied with some of the greats that we see as greats in history, and really what they were about. Einstein, Pythagoras, Galileo, all the great scientists, Tesla. Some of you may have been their apprenticeship or even a partner in some of that stuff, and you're here now to help bring that forward, if you will. And the last one is, you feel like you live out of time. Sometimes the world feels like it's moving in slow motion, like you're waiting for things to happen because there's just this unfolding that you know. It also can feel like you don't belong here, like there's something missing, like you're off. That's another sign that there's a part of you that longing for a different time on earth, say Lemuria, when things were more like heaven on earth, or maybe ancient Egypt, Celtic times when Jesus, Buddha, Mary Magdalene was around. If your soul really enjoyed that lifetime, you will crave being there because it was this, let's say, the sweetest life that you've had thus far. And there's a lot of chaos and struggle right now, so your higher self is like, I remember this piece. But don't use it as a way to go, God, it was so good then and it really isn't good now. Be honest, it wasn't great during Jesus' time. There was a lot of turmoil there, as well as ancient Egypt, Atlantis, and so forth. But there was something about that timeline that you really loved experiencing. But instead of looking at it as like you lost something, I want you to look at it like, okay, what can I pull from that timeline that I was doing that can make this life better? Maybe not even for yourself, but for other people. And we all have that within us. And it's just about allowing ourselves to explore the signs that come. Sometimes the signs are really obvious, sometimes they're not. I can do a whole video on how you can get to change that so that you can amp up your signs. Many of us want stronger signs for a multitude of reasons, just life. So now that you know you're an ancient soul, maybe you didn't know you're ancient soul but feel you might be now. Now an ancient soul doesn't mean that you've lived any certain number of lives. It could be hundreds, it could be thousands, it could be tens of thousands. Again, you can use a pendulum and ask, it will tell you. You don't have to know that. Some people find it fun. I have clients that definitely enjoy that. So if you wanted to know, you could. Okay, so now you know. What can you do? Well, you get to remember. If you have these characteristics, these 5 characteristics, your higher self is literally showing you where you are supposed to go in this lifetime. I call this your soul's map. Your soul's legend. And it's all been mapped out for you in this lifetime. It's all there. I love it when I work with clients and we're working with past life, trying to figure out where their past life trauma is that is causing a certain cycle or habit in this life, or a suffering pattern. And when I share what happens in that lifetime, they can immediately map it to their experience in this lifetime. And I just love that, because you can start to see how your higher self and source have mapped out this lifetime so that you have everything you need in order to ascend and master whatever it is your soul came to master in this lifetime. I love it when I write things down and I can't read my writing. I was definitely channeling something and I don't remember what it is. We'll go to the next one. Connect to others from the same time. You can call in people who you were friends with or worked with during that time. You can connect to them from your heart space and really feel into that. You may already have them around you and you don't know. There's nothing wrong with having people around you. I'm laughing. There's a dog. He really wants to come say hi. You can call those people in. And again, you may already have them around you, and they're just the people who, and they know you. They can talk about the same things. They're attracted to the same things. God, I really wish I could read that last one. All nuggets in the now. You can really use the 5 characteristics to start to understand not just what your possibilities are, where your higher self is leading you, what the timeline she wants you to remember that you have lived that has important information in this lifetime, but it also has trauma. And sometimes that's not great to look at. We want to look at all the fun things and the really cool things that we created in those time spaces. But I will tell you, if you're willing to look at the past life trauma that is causing problems in this life, if you're supposed to be stepping out, let's say doing video, and you were punished for speaking out in a past life, it's going to cause you fear. It's going to make you feel that ick. You can get rid of that so that you're not afraid anymore. And then you get to step into your mastery. The soul map, which I'll do a whole short video on that, is literally how you get to master whatever gifts that your higher self wants you to master in this lifetime. You've lived other lifetimes, so you've mastered other things. And there may even be things that you're struggling with. Another topic, I won't go into that. I have a lot to say, and my clients always say there's so much information, but I love sharing it. But you get to do that. And some people are going to tell you you're nuts. They're going to tell you that you're dreaming, or you're living in your imagination, or you're nuts, or whatever it is. But yet in your heart and soul it's true. I want you to hold on to that, because you are not crazy. You did live those times, and your higher self just wants you to honor it. So if you want to learn how to really connect to this portion of you and start to really work with you remembering your higher self and who he or she wants you to become, that is all within your DNA, that is just literally waiting to be activated, then send me a DM and we can talk about how I might be able to help you. But thanks for listening, and we'll talk soon. Bye for now.